Okay, guys, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little recap from last time or finish off what we started and then do a quick little few examples and get you guys going so that you're ready for Thursday. So just don't forget your quiz is on Thursday, fairly short. It'll be like a page front and back, but we can talk about that a little bit more later. If you have any questions, I'll be around later today after school if you want to stick around and we can solve some of your problems if you have any. So where we finished off the other day was on example D. Okay, so we did part A, part B, part C, and now we're on D here. So let's zoom in on where we left off. Okay, so D. The price of fruit increases from 69 cents to 30% by 30%. What is the new price? So this is saying add on 30% of 69 to the price. Okay, so 30% of 69 cents is what we want to find. So that X represents how much we're going to add on to our original price or our price now. So we're going to go 0.3 times 69 equals X. You do that on your calculator, you get about 20.7. So what we're going to do is we're going to round that up to 21. Just to show you, we have 0.30 times, so 30% of 69 equals 20.7. So we're going to round it up to 21 cents, okay, equals X. So the new price equals 69 plus 21 cents. Okay, what that ends up being is 90 cents. Therefore, the new price of fruit is 90 cents. Okay, so that's that one. So that is the price of fruit increasing. We're taking a percentage of the original price and adding it on, okay, to show that it's increasing. Moving down to this question here. In 2015, a Ferrari California cost $240,000. Last year's model retailed for the same, but has now dropped to $198,000. What was the percentage decrease of the car? So this one is to the nearest whole percent. So what we need to do is we need to take the original price of the car, okay, and find out how much it dropped by. So we're going to go $240,000. We're going to take away $198,000. Okay, and we do that on our calculator. $240,000 minus $198,000 ends up being $42,000. $42,000. Okay, so this $42,000 here represents, okay, how much it dropped by. But we also need to think about that as what is this in relation to the original price? So what is this in relation? Sorry, this pen's not working very well. Relation to the original price. Okay, so we have to find out what that percentage is. Okay, and it's like saying 42,000 out of the total cost. So we're going to have 42,000 divided by 240,000. Okay, so that is our percentage. Okay, 42,000 of the total price. So 42,000 divided by 240,000 equals 0.175. Okay, 0.175. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this into a percent. And all you have to do for that is move that decimal place 2 spots to the right. Okay, so that becomes 17.5%. So therefore, the price of the car dropped 17.5%. Okay, so step 1, we found out what the difference was. What did that difference look like in relation to the total? Okay, how much out of the total did that represent? So we divided those, 42,000 divided by 240, we get our decimal, we change it to a percent. All right, and one more for this lesson. Mr. Poseidon collected a lot of hockey cards when he was a kid. If the price of one of his cards has increased by 35% to $4.30, how much did he buy the original for? So there's going to be 2 ways we're going to think of this question. You might find one easier than the other, so that's up to you to decide. So we'll go method 1. Okay, and we need to think about this as a percentage of question. Okay, so what we don't know is the original price. Okay, so we don't know what 35% of the original price was. Okay, if we were to be able to find that out, 35% of the original price, whatever that value were, okay, and add it to the original price, we would get $4.30 or 4.30. So this represents the 35% that you're going to add to the total. So you're taking 35% of the total in this section and adding it to the total here. So what that looks like is 0.35x plus x equals 4.30. So 0.35x plus 1x is 1.35x equals 4.30. Okay, now we get the x by itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide by 1.35 and 1.35. Okay, when those 1.35s cancel out on this side, we're left with x equals, and we'll get our calculator out, 4.30 divided by 1.35. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure. 4.30 divided by 1.35. 1.35 is we'll go 3.19. X equals 3.19. So therefore, the original was $3.19. Okay, another way that we can look at it is that if something increases from an original price, it increases by the amount, by the original amount, which was 100%, plus another X percent. So this is going to be method 2. Okay, and this sort of skips a step here. It gets us right down to the 1.35 right away. So what this is saying is 135%, so increasing the original by its own amount plus 35%. Okay, so it's a total of 135%. So what you're doing is you're taking 135% of 4.30. Okay, and 135%, oh, sorry, 135% of X of the amount, the original amount, will give you 4.30. So what this is saying is 135% of something smaller, okay, will grow it into 4.30, $4.30. Okay, and so what you're going to do is you're going to change that percentage into a decimal, which makes it 1.35. Of represents times X equals 4.30. And if you look, we're at the same spot as we were over here. So we should know that X equals 3.19. Okay, so both ways work depending on how you want to think about the question. 35% of the total amount and then add it to the total amount, or take 135% of the original amount and that'll give you 4.30. So this is where we ended up last time. Okay, and those are your questions, part 1 and part 2. So I'd like you to copy those down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just skip over to another page and we'll have a look at a couple more questions. So we'll go to lesson 7 here. So lesson 7. So this is a percentage one. It's like a part 2. So there's just a couple more questions that we can just review on. A couple of easy ones here. Starting off with the first one. 24 students in a class took an algebra test. If 18 students passed the test, what percent did not pass? So 18 of 24 passed. So what that means is 6 didn't. Okay, and we want to find out what 6 of 24 as a percentage is. So 6 divided by 24, okay, equals 0.25. Change that into a percentage, makes it 25%. So we can say, therefore, 25% did not pass. So pretty simple question. Okay, it gives us a sort of roundabout explanation of what's happening here. 18 students passed the test. How many didn't pass as a percentage? Okay, so 18 of 24 did, which means 6 didn't. So 6 of the 24 is represented as 0.25 or 25%. So 25% did not pass. Next one, if the price of a watch is increased by 20% to $150, what was the original price? So just like the last page that we were on, let's do it the little bit quicker way. So 120%. So you're taking the 100% of your original, which is, for example, say the original was $100. You'd be taking $100 plus another 20% of it. Okay, that's what this represents. But since we don't know what that original price was, we're going to put X. But we know if we take 120% of X, okay, so that's a little bit more than X, we're going to get $150. Okay, so change this into a decimal, 1.20 times X, or 1.20X equals $150. Okay, we're going to divide by 1.20 and 1.20. We're going to find out that X equals 150 divided by 1.20. That didn't work. 150 divided by 1.20 equals 125. So therefore, the original price was, don't need that decimal, $125. Okay, so if you think about it, $125 increased increases by 20%. Okay, that seems reasonable. 25% or 20% of 125 added onto there will give you about 150. Okay. All right, moving on to the last question. So this one is a little bit tricky, and you really need to write down all the information that you're given and all the information that you're not given in a direct manner. Okay, so you have student A and you have student B. Student A, well, let's read the question. 2 students ran for house captain this year. If student A received 60% of the votes, securing 45 more than student B, how many students voted? So let's try to squeeze out as much information as we can. Student A got 60% of the vote. Student B, well, I think you can guess that he got 40% of the vote if he got the rest of them, assuming everybody voted and there was no voided tickets. What the question is also saying is that the difference is equal to 45 votes, meaning student A won by 45 more votes than student B. So that difference also is represented by 20%. The difference between them is 20%. The difference between them as a number is also 45. So what we're going to do is we are going to represent 20% of the total population is worth 45 votes. So to find out how many students voted, okay, 20% of the total we just found out is represented by 45 votes. Okay, so we're going to go 20% of X equals 45. Change 20% into a decimal, 0.20. Of means times, so 0.2 X equals 45. We're going to divide by 0.20 and 0.20. We're going to find out that X equals 45 divided by 0.20. We get 225. Therefore, 225 students voted. Okay, so you can see in this question, it doesn't necessarily give you a direct route for you to follow. When you have a question like this, it's really best to write down all the information you're given and all the information you can deduce or you can take away from the question, even though it's not giving it to you. So if you can connect the dots, okay, you can fill in the extra gaps and the extra bits of information that aren't directly told to you. So for example, as student B is 40%. Okay, so those are just recap questions or a couple other types of questions that you will find. This is pretty important. Okay, so just understand how to set up a question like this. All right, so if we go back to that last page, we were on here. These are your questions that you were working on. And, whoops. And if you need any help with any of this, I will be around this afternoon. Just stop on by or see me at the end of the day. Okay, I should be around. And good luck, guys. I will see you later on. Okay.